Welcome to Courageous Conversation with Teresa W. Gamble, powered by Concierge Resource Professional Consultant. Courageous Conversation is a diversity, equality, exclusive initiative. It's a gracious space for a meaningful discussion about culture, life, business, work, learn, live, worship, and play. It's an audio encyclopedia to design bridges, cultures, and generational gaps. Through active listening and action oriental changes toward liberation for all.
Welcome, Jana Debo Biggins, all the way from Savannah, Georgia. How is going, ladies?
It is excellent. The weather could be a little better here in Savannah today. Thunderstorms coming through, but we understand that this type of year is when the tropics start talking to us. So,
Wow.
other than that, I'm excellent.
That's true. Those tropics sure be talking. They be chopping loud too with this hurricane season. So this this podcast series is all things travel because the Delta variant has spiked back up. Like we in a third or fourth wave of the pandemic, and according to Dr. Fauci, it looks like we're gonna be like this until spring of 2022. So if that be the case, Miss Travel, Hospitality, and Tourism expert, give us the 411 what we need to be doing to plan to travel and move around this global community of ours.
Yes. So as we spoke of last time, Miss Teresa, we're really going to have to diligently decide how we want to travel safely with our families or as ourselves. If it's not for business, the government's saying stay home. But we understand that, hey, if we can go to the grocery store, we go here in our minds, we can get away from our four walls of our home and go and have some peace. And there's some things that you could do. Definitely Airbnbs will definitely tell you that their business has picked up outside of normal hotel stays because those are being individually cleaned. There's less guests in between stays in comparison to a hotel stay. And then as well as you're able to bring a lot of your amenities that you would normally use at home to those Airbnbs if they don't already supply it. Most of them have taken those things out for safety reasons because of the previous occupant. But that seems to be one of the best travel things. But before you even get to all of that, you need to go to the travel.state.gov so you know what the travel restrictions are for a particular area, country that you're going to. If you were to pop on that bad boy this morning, the first thing you will see is evacuation for Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a popular place to travel to Mideastern countries because of the beautiful water, the food, the culture. But as we understand that there's impending war. And so now people are trying to get out of that area and the areas around that feed into that country. And so what happens, we get heightened alerts. And that website can tell you what those heightened alerts are. We've been in heightened alert, of course, since the pandemic and updated most recently June 21st. So there's a lot of things that go into play when trying to plan travel. And that's where to start.
Wow, that's good to know. That's
travel.state.gov.
Travel.state.gov. All right. Yes. That's those of you all want to travel globally. Now, we know that your background is in hospitality. Yes. Tell me, I know you got some stories. What changes are going on with our hotels?
Yes. So what you're going to find, ladies and gentlemen, when you're traveling, please be patient. It's not your normal brand anymore. Hilton, Marriott, Holiday Inn, Starwood, and any other brand out there have regulations they have to follow. They're not going to come in your room and clean like normal. They're going to clean when you leave to prepare for the next person. You're going to have to make some trips possibly to the front desk to get extra amenities and towels. You're going to see that food services are not going to be the same. The menu offerings are not going to be the same. And that's because of their access to be able to get them off those boats because people aren't working like they used to, or the access to get those boats in. The process is a little bit more stringent because of health risks. And so be patient. It might not look like the hotel brand that you saw. previously. It might not be the plane ride you had before or the train ride you had before. And so prepare your minds for that so that your expectation is not that of what you're used to, but our current climate of safety. The same thing with staffing. Staffing is down. People are either sick out with COVID or RSV or the Delta variant, or companies are putting less people out before people, and really rotating and trying to save money as a small business. So you're not going to see the level of staffing. Does that mean that it's going to impede on service? It might, based on the service that you're used to receiving. You're going to have to do so. You're paying to do a little bit of work to stay where you're going to stay. Expect that.
Oh wow. So that means I got to have a suitcase just for cleaning my room, for amenities that the hotel normally provide. So, but if we're providing all this, does that change? Is that changing the cost to stay at the hotel room, or no?
That does not change the cost, because at the end of the day, you're paying for that shelter and you're paying for that experience. And it is still based on supply and demand. People want to get out of the house and they're going to travel. And if you're going to these destinations during popular times, you're still going to pay for that demand, but you can expect to get less service for more money. It's costing people and small businesses more to supply services because they are supplying a level of safety and healthcare that they have not before.
Oh wow. So how are you all handling those that's not in compliance? They won't wear the mask. They won't socially distance. They refuse to comply with the guidelines, and putting you and the hotel employees at risk. How are you all handling that?
Case by case, to be honest. Our brand has decided, all staff members are to wear their mask. I'm at work here in Hanoi. You have that mask on. You wash your hands quite often, disinfect your work area on the hour, common areas on the hour, with high grade level cleaning supplies. And so, hopefully our guests see that we are doing those things and that they take it to heart and take the climate that we're in and take it very seriously. Yes, you may be vaccinated. Yes, you may feel that this is all a hoax. Yes, you may feel that it's just society heightening something bigger than making a mountain out of a molehill. Whatever it is that you are feeling outside, the numbers do not lie. People are dying from this disease. People have been hurt from this disease from a business standpoint, emotional standpoint, and people need to be a little bit more sensitive when traveling. And like I said, and understanding that the person on the other end trying to give you their very best service with limited opportunity to what you're used to. And so asking you to please put on your mask or please back away a little bit further so we can have a conversation. Most people are not as welcome into that. And they just got to get past that mental block.
Wow, that's good to know. That's real good to know. So we were talking about, you were mentioning Afghanistan earlier. Are there any other countries that are closed globally to the U.S. that we need to be aware of while we're planning our vacations?
Listen, when you see this list, when you go onto travel.state.gov, it's anything from Liechtenstein, North Macedonia, Palau, Burma. The list goes on and on. Angola, a lot of heightened caution. Do not travel. Reconsider. Exercise. Even Anguilla, beautiful tropics. We have not seen travel do this in a long time since 9/11.
Wow.
And this is bio warfare. This is most people just countries taking advantage of situations where the front might be a little weakened by this disease. And so people are taking their chance. They're shooting their shot to take over countries, to take over governments, and we have to decide, is it really worth my freedom? Is it really worth my life and my family's life to go see and visit this beautiful place? So if you want to go, take the Lord with you. However, use wisdom. But I stand on the fact that those who are already there on the front line, who are seeing what is happening to travelers as they go in these countries, especially without a guide, especially without a trusted guide, sometimes can end up very fatal for them.
Wow, that's good to know
Yes.
that we have to do our homework. So you mentioned something about a trusted guide and making sure. So what staycations can we look forward to doing in this pandemic? Because I know that is global and abroad, but what about home? What states are not allowing visitors to travel to their state?
Most states are now open. However, it's the businesses and the companies that you work for and the restrictions that are being passed down. People are requiring that you come with a negative test within 72 hours of you stepping foot in either their country, city, or state. Some people are requiring you to have that same test taken before you leave their country, city, or state. And if you test positive, you are going to have to quarantine where you are. And you might not financially be able to do that, but you're not going to be able to leave either. You will be, they will, for lack of a better word, they will jail you if you try to leave the country and you cannot produce a negative test result. And so hospitalization or quarantine to a hotel room. So be prepared in the event if you're asymptomatic and you don't know that you're carrying these traits and you take that test. Unfortunately, your family's going to have to leave you there because if they stick around you, it's possible they'll get it too, and then they're going to have to stay until they can produce a negative test result. And sometimes doctors say you can't get a test result, a negative, up into 3 to 4 weeks sometimes. That's a lot. A 3-day, 7-day vacation is now turned into 30 days. Now your job, your family back home, you have to really wholeheartedly consider traveling right now. We wish the best to those who do decide to travel, but the heart of the matter is opening up that computer and exploring your own backyard. There are so many precious things from lakes and rivers and mountains and beaches, countrysides, that will allow you to social distance, to have that privacy, that peace. If you're someone who's looking out for adventure, hiking, getting out into the air, just being able to do those things can satisfy that bug of wanting to get out in the open and travel and do something different.
Wow, that's good to know. That's good to know. So what some best practices and tips can you share with business owners who are trying to get their risk management and or crisis management plan in place? Because that's something a lot of businesses do not have or do not visit often enough.
It is time to look at those handbooks, your SOPs, standard operating procedures. If you're working, if you've hired people and they're W-2 employees, you best believe you better put some stipulations in place, your COVID practices in place to be able to regulate how your employees come and go, how you do business with your vendors and suppliers, contractors that might be signed on to do work with you. Maybe they don't want to be vaccinated, but maybe you require them to have a mask, and that needs to be in your contract. I see that Disney this morning is requiring union workers to be vaccinated to be able to work. So we can see a lot of this happening, especially in a lot of our parks, national parks, as well as theme parks, movie theaters, places where there's large gatherings expected. And so I would definitely tell the small business owner, if you're not breaking that book out and you haven't done so, that you need to make an amendment for your employees, for your future employees. This is not going anywhere. It's like the flu, polio, chicken pox. You need to have something in place for people who are unvaccinated or vaccinated for the safety not of yourself, but those and your customers. So especially if you're dealing with food and beverage or gift boxing or anything that someone's going to have to physically touch from your establishment, putting stuff in place, letting them know you took an extra step in packaging and making sure that you're considering their health and their safety and the safety of your employees.
That's good to know. That's very good to know. Any final thoughts for our Travel Tuesday, Miss Jana DeVoe Biggins?
I would say in the meantime, go ahead and continue to make that vision board of where you want to travel and start putting your money where your mind is. if your mind is in the Bahamas and it's shut down, just start putting those dollars in there. So when things do get to some sense of normalcy and where we can travel a little bit more safely and numbers are down, you're prepared to go. You're prepared to get that passport, which, by the way, is now 18 to 20 weeks to get it back. Even an expedited is 12 to 15, and that's $60 more per person. So please consider that too. If you're traveling, you want to travel abroad here in the next 3 to 6 months, it's time to just go ahead and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to travel abroad this year, but let me go ahead and get that passport in play, so that you can get it processed and hopefully have it by January. So that's where we are right now. Just really think about it. Be safe. Don't risk a short-term gratification of travel for your health and safety of you, your family, and those you have to come back to work to. It will be there. It will be there.
Awesome. You heard it first here on Courageous Conversations with Teresa W. Gamble. This is Jana DeVoe Biggins, our travel expert on Travel Tuesdays, as well as our monthly expert, to let us know of the amazing staycations right here in our backyard. We can visit some historical tours that we can take to inspire our next generation, to let them know about our history and culture. She told us what we need to do when we go to these hotel rooms. So you need to just always to get another suitcase and bring all your amenities with you, including your cleaning products, because housekeeping won't be cleaning your room, sweetie. And then if you gonna travel, please make sure you get vaccinated. Make sure you're testing negative. And you might need to bring some extra money, because if you have to quarantine and stay over, they may put you in a hotel room, possibly, or put you in jail in that place wherever you tested positive from. So we can save ourselves a lot of heartache and headache if we just comply according to the expectations of our travel expert, hospitality, and tourism guru, Ms. Jana DeVoe Biggins. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next Travel Tuesday. Greetings, everybody. This is Teresa W. Gamble of Courageous Conversations, your host. We are here today with Travel Tuesdays with Jana DeVoe Biggins. She got some good things for us to share about the top 20 places to travel this fall. So, Jana, give us the goods. Where are the top places we can travel this fall?
Listen, we know that COVID and Delta variant is running rampant. The numbers are trying to come down on a lot of locations. And what we're finding, people are finding ways to travel safely. And so here are some of the top 20 places. A poll has come together with the IATA Association, Condé Nast, a lot of the well sought after travel writers have come together and made this list, and I want to definitely share it with you today. The first one on our list is going to be Asheville, North Carolina. It has a quaint southern fall getaway from their cabins, their food. You're going to find a lot of their restaurants. They might have grab and go, get your orders, Uber Eats, but you're able to at least experience a taste of that southern. Also, Yellowstone National Park was named number 8 in the best fall vacations to be able to go to and kind of ride around. Again, you're going to reach out to your Airbnbs to be able to stay out there. Boston is back at the top of the list. Boston leaves turn golden red. It's a beautiful color. And this time of year, it's preparing us as we transition from summer to fall. If you've never been to Acadia National Park in autumn, just breathtaking. It's up there by Maine. Maine, if you don't like lobster, don't go. But outside of that, you can do a lot of fishing, fly fishing, and lobster trapping there. The Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon offers a lot of scenery, railway. It's hiking. So if you're not into a lot of walking, don't put that one on your list. You have San Francisco, California. California has put some restrictions in place, guys, but they are still seeing a lot of people come to travel to see their city. Just be prepared to wear your mask and distance yourself. Charleston, South Carolina has made it to number 4 in the best fall vacations in the state. The humidity is going to drop down a little bit here in the south, so you won't find a lot of steamy places to walk to. And the restaurants seem to be booming. They have decided to social distance there. You're going to see a lot of wear your mask, but they are one of the top destinations to visit. The Windy City, Chicago. Chicago is budding, budding, budding. You have a lot of opportunity in Chicago to do some shopping, just to be able to cool down, taste some of that good Chicago pie. Aspen. Listen, Colorado never stops. Colorado is going to be amazing. The foliage changes, and that's definitely a place you want to go. Yosemite National Park. National parks, you're going to see a lot of these on the top list. Again, because it's open air, people can spread out, enjoy the beauty of this country. Sedona, for you wine connoisseurs. Arizona, Sedona, it can be extremely hot, but this time of year is going to be temperatures in the daytime is going to come down a little bit to the 80s, but it's a different type of humidity. So, but you'll be able to pull through. I don't know if you ever heard of Jackson Hole, but that's all the way in Wyoming. And let me tell you, people are living their best life out here in these open air B&Bs where you can explore the wildlife as well as some of the natural habitat that's there. Another place where we can go to is Portland, Oregon. Again, for the foliage, for the food, enjoying that. And again, watch out for those restrictions. My hometown made it to the list, Savannah, Georgia, considered one of the most haunted cities in America. Listen, the only ghosts we have walking around here, I must say, are the ones that were hoping they didn't have to wear a mask. You also have Stowe, Vermont. If you've never been to Vermont, again, green mountains, beautiful foliage. If you're a photographer, this is definitely a place to go. Let's head back over to California, San Diego. Most people make this out of an autumn vacation. Their highs is like 70 degrees. And so you can still hop in the pool in the wintertime there. You also have Lake Tahoe. If you've never been to Lake Tahoe in the fall, that's kind of in between their busy season. Tahoe is big business, but it's also a great place for these college students to go and hang out. So if you want to see some livelihood or you're having a midlife crisis, go to Lake Tahoe. Santa Fe. Santa Fe, if you're artsy and you like some of that culture, Santa Fe is going to be your best bet. Ooh, now let's dig in and have a little bit of slow down time and take it back west and go to Berkshire, Massachusetts. Believe it or not, this town looks like something straight out of a Western with Clint Eastwood, but you can definitely have some time. You also have Seattle. We talked about Seattle again. Seattle is good for September and October in some spots. If you want to experience some of their colder weather, then go mid-November. Napa County. So again, all my wine and food connoisseurs, it's time. Those grapes have ripened. The wine has sat there. The cultures are ready. And if you like wine tasting, Napa Valley is definitely the place to go. Now, there's a place called Kauai in the Canyons State Park. If you want to experience beautiful gardens, be able to walk foliage, this paradise. Now, listen, the other day, Hawaii's governor said, you guys stay home, don't come here. He's going to get his numbers down. So, it's hardly any restrictions, but they're trying their best. But people are like, I want to go to the water. I want to go see a volcano. He said, stay home. Then we have the Smoky Mountains, magnificent. Just traveling from Tennessee to Georgia, North Carolina, seeing those Smoky Mountains and those ridges. Listen, you better get your car in gear if you're going to do those inclinations. But it is a great way to get the family out the house, have some separation from people, and be able to enjoy. And the last on the list is going to be Bar Harbor, Maine. Bar Harbor, Maine. It was one of the top places where you can see all the colors of fall. And so that is the top 20 list. If you want to go and find that, you can definitely just Google it, top 20 places to go this fall in the United States. And you have it this season.
Awesome. That is good to know. That's good to know. Now, we got to keep in mind now, each state, each place has their restrictions, not just health, but social unrest.
Yes.
So you need to be prepared for all of that. So do your homework and your due diligence so you won't put yourself and your family in a situation that the National Guard has to come rescue you.
We don't want to hear about you.
No,
in the travel news.
no, we don't. We don't. So we gonna put this disclaimer: do your research, investigate, and make sure it is safe for you and your family to go to these communities, especially those that's in the mountains, in the woods, and secluded,
and by the water.
and by the water. So you need to make sure that you're going somewhere that you and your family gonna be safe, and y'all gonna be able to return back home to your normal routine, because we don't want to hear about you on the news because you didn't do your homework. Make sure you got the necessary insurance in place, because a friend of mine in Reno, Nevada is telling me a lot of out-of-state people are traveling and they're contracting COVID.
Yes.
And most states do not. We don't have universal health care. So just because you have insurance in one state, that doesn't mean another state will accept it.
The cross is over. Exactly. Be prepared to take that travel cash and have travel insurance in the event you have to cancel and can't stay the remainder of your time because you're sick. Most places like, well, you can't stay here. You have to quarantine somewhere else, and you've lost your deposit and half your stay. And don't forget, go to the travel.state.gov so you can see those advisories. So you don't waste your money, on a dream thinking that you can go one place and they've shut down, but really they've been shut down for 2 months. So
wow,
do your research.
That's true. Now, I've been seeing commercials about people renting RVs instead of staying in hotels.
This is true. Now, remember, though, if you're going to park at an RV park, there's going to be other people there as well. And sometimes there's shared bathrooms, shared showers. You're going to have to do your hookups. So make sure you do your research. If you're going to do some RVing, make sure you talk to that RV salesperson that should be an expert to tell you how to stay safe on the road while you're traveling in that RV.
That's good to know. Well, thank you, Jana DeVoe Biggins, our travel expert, for letting us know the 20 hot spots to go in the United States. But we still have more homework to do, because every state, every place has restrictions, not just for health, but for social unrest. She encouraged you to get that travel insurance. So if you do get sick, and you need to check to see your insurance coverage. So if you move or get sick from state to state, what is accepted and what is not. Because if it's not accepted, then you're a self-pay. That means you're going to have to pay out of pocket. So we want to make sure you have the best travel experience. So we want to work smarter and not harder.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to Travel Tuesdays with Jana DeVoe Biggins on the Courageous Conversations with Teresa W. Gamble on mixtalkradio.org. Stay tuned and stay connected and safe.
You've been listening to Courageous Conversation with Teresa W. Gamble. Courageous Conversation is powered by Concierge Resource Professional Consultant. Would you like to be a guest and have your story, lesson, and best practice to be captured in an audio encyclopedia? We are currently reviewing applications for future guests to join us, and we're especially interested in creating spaces for long-standing or multi-generational Black-owned businesses. For more information and to be considered, please email info@crpcnow.com to request an application. Be not weary in well-doing. You shall reap if you faint not. Galatians 6:9.